Hello, this is John with Brainstorm Comics and Gaming. We are Frederick's original. We have been in business since 1984, serving the community's gaming and comic needs for 35 plus years at this point. We are also Frederick's Best as voted by Frederick's Magazine. We have won that for the last 8 years, something we are very proud of. We know with the current events going on that several of you or many of you are suffering from what we like to call Brockoga 20, which is the lack of Brainstorm Comics and Gaming in your life during the year 2020. We are here to fix that. We can deliver to your house. We can mail order. We can ship it to you. We cannot allow you into the store, unfortunately, and we cannot do curbside. But the other two options are something to consider. So this video series, we are hoping to highlight some books that we are finding here in the back room. Yes, I am braving the back room. Hopefully I survive. Hopefully you survive. So you can go to the web store. The web address will be here at the bottom. We recommend that you use the search function at the top in order to find the product you are looking for. You can scroll through the different pages, but as I'm sure you've seen, we have 10,000 plus products on there. We are working on adding categories. Again, with that much product, it's taking us a little bit longer than what we thought. So let's see what's in the back room.
It came from the back room.
I got it! I got it! I survived. We found lots of goodies for you. Hopefully you like them. So this is the complete set of Skybox Vertigo cards that was released in 1994. For those of you who don't know, Vertigo started in 1993. Karen Berger was very instrumental in curating the titles. She came up with some great creators working on some great books. So we have Swamp Thing, we have Hellblazer, we have Sandman, we have Shade the Changing Man, we have Animal Man, we have Black Orchid, we have Doom Patrol, Books of Magic, John Constantine again, Swamp Thing again. For those of you who don't know, Karen Berger has also moved on to Dark Horse, where she has a line of books called Berger Books. Some great books are coming out through that. One of my favorite new titles is Tomorrow, which is about a contagion. I know that's something a lot of people necessarily want to read right now. It's actually really well done, though. I highly recommend you check it out. Other great books include Invisible Kingdom by G. Willow Wilson, She Could Fly, Girl in the Bay, Mata Hari, Hungry Ghost, which was influenced by Anthony Bourdain. If you like the Vertigo titles from the early 90s, I highly recommend that you check out the Dark Horse stuff that she's doing right now, or curating right now. But this is for, I believe there's 90 cards in this set. Yes, there are 90 cards in this set. The whole 90 cards are here. The collection includes the binder, which was made for this collection. We're going to ask $35 for this if it's delivered, $40 to be mailed. If you're interested, be sure to check out the web store. Web address is here at the bottom. So the next one is the complete collection of Skybox cards for the Sandman series. For those of you who don't know, Netflix is getting ready to do a series based on the comic book. They've done a great job with other things that they've done. Umbrella Academy, obviously one of the standout ones right now. Lock and Key also. So this has a lot of different art by Dave McKeon. This is another complete set. As you can see, some really, really awesome artwork. As we mentioned on the other product that we just covered, Karen Berger, very instrumental in getting some great creators, some great titles for the Vertigo line in the early 90s. Again, if you love those series, definitely check out the stuff that she's curating for the Dark Horse line Berger books. As you can see, it's not just Dave McKeon art. There's also some of the other artists that provided pieces for the comic series. This was a pretty cool find in the back room. I thought it was pretty interesting. Hopefully you guys think so as well. For this one, we're asking $40 for it to be delivered, or we're asking $45 shipped. So next up, we have one of the better titles, one of the hallmark titles for the DC Comics graphic novels, DC The New Frontier by Darwin Cook. Darwin Cook, awesome art style as you can see. This book was very instrumental for the DC Universe. This is the first edition. For those of you who want to see that, right here, first printing. So this series was pretty cool, and it is done in like the John F. Kennedy era, kind of like happy-go-lucky. Hey, America can do anything. Bright future. Definitely something people probably want to read right now. There's a lot of pessimism right now about the current events. This would be a very good read to get through. I'm going to showcase some of the pages in here just to show you. Like I said, Darwin Cook's art style, very, very awesome. Kind of reminiscent of the Batman animated series. Just a great series overall. This is the deluxe edition, as I said. For this one, the cover price on this one is $50. We're asking $35 for it, $40 shipped. So next up, we have a first edition hardcover of Daredevil Yellow by Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale. That duo has worked together on some very memorable storylines. One of the first ones was Batman The Long Halloween, followed by Dark Victory and Catwoman Winter Rome. Then the duo came over to Marvel and they did what they call the color books. What this series does is it retells some early adventures from the different Marvel heroes. The cover price on it is $30, but we're asking $24 and $29 shipped. So next up, another one by that dynamic duo of Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale. This one is SpiderMan Blue, retelling some early adventures of Spider-Man as written by Stan Lee and Steve Ditko. This one is a second printing, not a first printing. The artwork, Tim Sale's artwork, is always very, very cool. Again, kind of like the Darwin Cook, has kind of like an animated sort of style to it. Very, very angular. I've always liked his style a lot. So the cover price on this one is $22. For it, we're asking $18 delivered or $23 shipped. So this one is the collection, the deluxe edition hardcover of Solo. For those of you who don't know what Solo is, DC went to different artists and gave them pretty much carte blanche to do whatever they wanted to with different characters. So they had a far more artistic take on the different characters. They weren't beholden to continuity. They weren't beholden to anything like that. So the creators had a lot of fun with this. A lot of really awesome stories came out of it. A lot of awards were given to this series. Creators like Tim Sale, Darwin Cook, Michael Allred, Sergio Aragonis. This is another first edition. This one is out of print currently. It has a $50 cover price. We're asking $45 for it for delivery and $50 for it to be shipped. As you can see, it's a pretty thick book, pretty heavy. It'll keep you pretty busy during the quarantine. Some awesome art in there. Definitely a good pickup to add to your bookshelf. So next up, we have a Stardust hardcover first print. This is by Neil Gaiman and Charles Vess. So this book has been quite popular over the last 2 decades. They've made a movie about it. Neil Gaiman is always a popular creator. He has moved on to mostly writing novels at this point. As we mentioned on the earlier product, however, he is getting ready to have Sandman turn into a Netflix show. This is one of the more pricier books that we have in this video series, though. This one is $125 delivered and $130 shipped. This is one for the collectors out there, not necessarily one that you want to just read on a regular basis. Definitely a cool book to add to your collection, though. Next up, we have Watchmen by Alan Moore and Dave Gibbons. So this was an instrumental series in comic books. It has definitely changed the way the industry has moved. This one, along with Dark Knight Returns, Sandman, definitely showed that comic books are more literary, not just bam boom, kind of like the 1960s Batman show. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but it definitely showed that there can be an elevated storytelling in the medium. This has had an HBO show. It's had a movie. Alan Moore, definitely a great creator. He's done many great things for comic books. V for Vendetta, the ABC line for Wildstorm. If you have not read the ABC line, you are missing out. There's some great stuff in there. Tom Strong, Tomorrow's Stories with Jack B. Quick, Promethea, just a whole bunch of great titles. For Watchmen, though, like I said, this changed comic books. This is a first printing of the soft cover. This came out in the late 80s. The cover price on this one is $15. We're only asking $10 for this one, or $15 shipped though. Next up is a fun character. This book is Plastic Man on the Lam. This one's pretty cool, and it has even a plastic cover, kind of keeping with the theme of the character. This is the first print. The art is by Kyle Baker. He has that very cartoonish style. I've always liked it. I know it may not be everyone's cup of tea, but I like the bright colors. I like not ashamed of the very bright colors and that kind of style. This is a first printing, like I said. The cover price on it is $15. We are doing $10 delivered or $15 shipped. So I mentioned earlier the Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale dynamic duo had done a great series called The Long Halloween. This is the hardcover edition, first print. This is one of the ones that pretty much put them on the map. They had done some stuff before this. They had done 3 Halloween one-shots kind of leading into this. As you can see, Tim Sale's art, very, very fitting for the Batman series, especially with like the 1930s, 1940s kind of style. Kind of reminiscent of like the Spirit in some ways. So for this one, the cover price on it is $30. We're asking $24 for it delivered or $29 shipped. As you can see, there is some wear on like the dust jacket. For the most part, this is in very nice shape though. Definitely an excellent hardcover to add to your bookshelf. So the next one is a set of graphic novels, the first 4 volumes of Rachel Rising. This is written by Terry Moore, the creator of Strangers in Paradise. So if you were a fan of that series, this is maybe one that you want to check out. So we have Volume 1, The Shadow of Death. We have Volume 2, Fear on Malice. Number 3, Cemetery Songs. And number 4, Winter Graves. The collective price of these is normally $51. We're asking $25 for delivery or $30 for shipped. That includes all 4 of them. So not a bad deal. It breaks down to $6 a book if you have it delivered, or $7.50 for it to be mailed to you. So the next one is Frank Miller's 300. This one had a movie. I'm sure all of you know all those quotes and everything that came from the movie. Everybody used them for a long time afterwards. So this is the first printing of this one. Frank Miller has been very instrumental in the comic book industry. Created Dark Knight Returns, had a great run on Daredevil. Just created some really memorable stories. Sin City also turned into movies. He's had a very, very impressive career in comic books. This one is the first edition hardcover. The cover price on it is $30. We're asking $18 shipped $18 delivered or $23 shipped. And we'll just page through a couple. So this next one is going to be a huge set. We're only selling as a set because I feel like it would be wrong to break it up. I'll tell you why here in a second. This is a Sandman Collection. They are all first printings of the hardcovers. Again, like we mentioned earlier, Netflix is getting ready to do a TV series based around this. It's definitely going to become even more popular than what it already is. Obviously, it's one of the flagship titles of the Vertigo line. Definitely one that has reshaped comic books. Each one, like I said, is a first printing. So first we have the Preludes and Nocturnes. Then we have Doll's House. Then we have Dream Country. Then we have Season of Mist. Then we have A Game of You. Then we have Fables and Reflections. Then we have Brief Lives. Then we have World's End. Then we have The Kindly Ones. Finally, in the Sandman series, we have The Wake, but we're also including the Sandman Companion, which goes over a lot of the different references that the Sandman series makes. We have the dust covers of Sandman. We have Death, The Time of Your Life. We have The Dream Hunters. And we have Sandman, Endless Nights. So like I said, we don't want to break this one up because all of them are first editions. We'd rather sell it all as one big set. It would look very impressive on your bookshelves. I know we keep saying that, but all these books were pretty big ones in the comic industry. So the cover price on this stack of books is $480. We're asking $420 for it to be delivered or $450 for it to be shipped. Obviously, shipping on this one's going to be a little bit higher just because all of these are hardcovers and the weight of them adds up pretty quickly. So that was our first edition of It Came from the Back Room. Hopefully you survived. I barely did. You know, the back room was very dangerous, as I'm sure you found out. I almost lost my shoe during it. We didn't make it to the board games in this one. We will make it to the board games in the next one. We didn't want to make the video too long. We wanted to make it very accessible to everybody who just wanted to do a quick viewing. If you saw anything that you are interested in, make sure you go to our web store. The address will be here at the bottom of the screen. Right now, we don't have it set up to where you can choose delivery or mail order. Just either email us at brainstormcomics@verizon.net or give us a call at 301-304-2407 and we can set you up for either one. The only option on there right now is pickup. Obviously, we can't do that. We don't want to break any of the rules in place. We want to keep you safe. We want to keep us safe. Hopefully, we see you in the next one. We want to make this a regular feature. It Came from the Back Room.